Imagine this. You walk into a room full of people. Some are laughing, some are whispering, some are sitting quietly. Without anyone saying a word, you already sense who's confident, who's nervous, who's pretending, and who's genuinely happy. How did you know that? It's because human beings are constantly broadcasting signals through body language, tone of voice, habits, and patterns of behavior. The problem is, most of us aren't trained to notice these signals. Patrick King's book, Read People Like a Book, gives us that training. This isn't about mind reading or manipulation. It's about awareness. The more we understand people, the better our relationships, careers, and decisions become. In this audiobook-style summary, we'll unpack the core lessons of the book, with stories and real-world examples, so by the end you'll feel like you have a new pair of glasses, ones that let you see what others often miss.
Lesson 1. Every action has a story. Think of the last time someone snapped at you. Maybe a colleague barked, "Why didn't you finish this yet?" It feels personal, right? But often it's not. People don't behave randomly. There's always a backstory. That colleague? Maybe they grew up in a household where mistakes weren't tolerated, and now even small delays trigger fear. Their anger isn't about you. It's about their history. Here's a simple example. A child grows up with parents who only praised achievements, not effort. As an adult, that child may chase titles, awards, or recognition because deep down they've learned, I am only worthy when I achieve. So when you see a workaholic CEO who never rests, you might think it's ambition, but underneath is a story of needing approval. So instead of judging the surface, ask yourself, what story might be behind this action? Lesson 2. Look for patterns, not moments. Suppose your friend cancels plans once. It's no big deal. Twice? It could be coincidence. But if they cancel every single time something emotional comes up, that's a pattern. Patrick King reminds us, one behavior doesn't define a person, but repeated behaviors reveal the truth. Story time. I once had a colleague who always volunteered for new projects. At first, I thought, wow, so helpful. But then I noticed they would jump in, work like crazy, and then complain bitterly about being overworked. Pattern revealed. They wanted recognition, but didn't know how to set boundaries. Another example. Someone says, I don't care what people think, but every time they're criticized, they sulk for days. Words say one thing, patterns say another. Lesson. Don't take people at face value. Watch their patterns, how they respond across situations, and you'll see their real priorities. Lesson 4. With family, we're one way. With colleagues, another. But if you strip away the situation, certain behaviors remain constant. That's someone's core personality. At a wedding, you might meet someone who's the life of the party, dancing, laughing, making jokes. But at work, they're quiet, serious, and focused. Does that mean they're fake? Not necessarily. They're just adapting. But here's the trick. Look for what never changes. Are they always respectful no matter the context? That's core. Are they always competitive, even in casual games? That's core. Do they always avoid conflict? That's core. Fake confidence is another one. Some people act bold at parties, but crumble under real pressure. True confidence is steady across contexts. Ask yourself, what's situational and what's permanent? That's how you spot the core personality. Lesson 4. Hidden needs drive behavior. Behind most actions is a psychological need. The need to feel safe, the need for recognition, the need for control, the need to avoid shame. Let me share a story. A manager once told his team, I'm just strict because I care about quality. But his actions told a different story, micromanaging every detail, hovering over employees and rewriting their work. His real need? Control. Without control, he felt anxious. Here's another. A friend who always throws big parties. On the surface, it looks like generosity. But when you notice how they keep checking if people are having fun, if guests compliment them, it's not just about hosting. It's about a deep need for attention and validation. So when you see the need, you can predict the behavior. A person driven by control will always resist delegation. A person driven by recognition will always chase the spotlight.
Lesson 5. Body language, the silent truth. Words lie. Body language rarely does. Someone says, "I'm fine," but their shoulders slump, their voice is flat, their eyes avoid yours. The body reveals the truth. Crossed arms? People assume it means anger, but it could also mean they're cold. Context matters. That's why Patrick King advises looking for clusters of signals. Let's build a picture. Crossed arms plus tight jaw plus short answers equals probably defensive or angry. Crossed arms plus smile plus leaning in, maybe just comfortable. I once saw a job interview where the candidate kept saying, "I'm very confident," but every time the interviewer asked a tough question, he scratched his neck, avoided eye contact, and spoke in a shaky voice. His words said confidence, his body said fear. Watch the body, not just the mouth. Lesson 6. Pleasure versus pain. Every decision boils down to two forces: seeking pleasure, avoiding pain. Think of two people at the gym. One goes because they enjoy the rush, the progress, the pride. That's pleasure-driven. Another goes because they're terrified of illness or weight gain. That's pain avoidance. A student studies hard because good grades bring joy. Another studies hard because failure brings shame. On the outside, the behavior looks the same, but the motivation is completely different. If you understand whether someone is chasing pleasure or avoiding pain, you can predict what they'll do next. Lesson 7. Fears shape the future. Behind many patterns lies fear. A man grows up in poverty. Even after becoming wealthy, he pinches every penny, terrified of losing it all. His wealth doesn't erase the fear, it magnifies it. Someone who avoids relationships may not be independent. Their pattern might come from a deep fear of betrayal, born from a painful breakup. A woman constantly curates her social media, perfect photos, perfect captions. She might say it's for fun, but underneath is the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough. If you want to truly understand someone, ask, what are they afraid of? Fear is a powerful compass. Final lesson: empathy and awareness. Here's the beauty of Patrick King's book. It's not about using this knowledge to manipulate. It's about connecting better. When you see that your angry coworker is actually scared, you respond with patience. When you notice your friend seeks attention because they feel invisible, you show them you value them. When you recognize that your child's stubbornness is actually a fear of failure, you guide instead of punish. Understanding people makes you kinder, wiser, and more effective. Conclusion. So, let's wrap up. Every action has a story. Look for patterns, not moments. Separate context from core personality. Discover hidden needs and fears. Listen to the body, not just words. Remember that pleasure and pain drive all decisions. Patrick King's message is simple but powerful. People are like open books. If you learn the language, you can read them. And once you can read people, life becomes easier. You argue less, connect more, and make smarter choices. So next time someone says, "I'm fine," or acts in a way that confuses you, don't just take it at face value. Step back, watch the patterns. Ask, what's the real story behind this? Because when you learn to read people like a book, you unlock the key to better relationships, deeper understanding, and a wiser life.